Tonight, it's Live with Vince Eliot. Live with Vince Eliot. Tonight on Live with Vince Eliot. From AaronGTV, it's Aaron G. Aaron G. And the woman with one voice and many characters, Abby Adams. Let's get it. Well, hello everybody. Another Friday evening. It is 8 p.m. or a couple minutes after. I am Vince Eliot. Live with Vince Eliot. We have a show. I have a show for you guys tonight. I'm excited about it. I will tell you all about my guest here shortly. But first, I thought it was important to remind you guys, because we've been in this quarantine for a while, and I thought it was very important to remind you all of what not to do when we come out of quarantine. So I'm bringing Miss Ruby back. Now, I need to tell you something real quick about Miss Ruby. She is not the type of person that drinks. That is apple juice she's got in that glass. It's apple juice. She's been talking like that since she was 2 years old. She sounds like she's drunk, but she really isn't drunk. One last thing before we bring on Miss Ruby. I need you all to do me a favor right now. Right now, click the share button. Share this with your page, and now let's get into it.
Number 5. Stop telling your landlord you ain't got no rent because of COVID-19. Besides, they saw you down there at the ABC liquor store. Number 4. Don't continue going into the bank with no mask on. You can't be the only one in the bank with a mask 3 months after the quarantine done ended. Think you won't get the police called on you? Don't do that, sugar. Don't do that, sugar. And number 3, don't stop practicing social distancing right away. Especially all y'all close talkers with that toxic breath. Social distancing still apply to all y'all. Number 2, don't keep collecting them unemployment checks after you return to work. You know that is illegal, and they probably got a jail cell with your name on it. And finally, finalmente, as my Puerto Rico friend Jose used to say, the number one thing you need to be thinking about not when the quarantine is over is don't try to put on them tight jeans you was able to wear before the quarantine. Especially you ladies who were jumping up and down trying to put them on before the quarantine. Now you're at the couch weight, so you may want to give a couple sizes liquor.
Hey everybody, Vince Eliot saying thank you for tuning in. Real quick, I wanted to invite you to become partners with us and contribute to our success. Our success is your success. One way that you can do that is by subscribing to our YouTube page, The Vince Eliot. Click on the notification so that you are notified when we go live or upload new content. Secondly, please share this broadcast with your family, friends, contacts, Craig and them, Cud and them, share with everybody. Lastly, you can contribute to the success of the broadcast with a financial contribution of only $1.25 a week, $5 a month, or $60 contribution for the year by using the Cash App information that's on the screen, $ Live with Vince Eliot. So thank you for helping us to bring information, education, inspiration, motivation, and yes, a few laughs to the world. Oh. Thank you. Let's go. Yes, it's Vince Eliot Live with Vince Eliot. Listen, I am, again, excited tonight for my guest, and we're going to be talking about a subject that I get asked about a lot. We did do a show before talking about voiceovers, and yes, we're doing another one. It's so exhaustive. There's so much information we can give. I thought it's worth it to do it again. So I'm going to do the show tonight talking about voiceovers. You know I'm a producer that does voiceovers as well. I'm a TV producer, and so I love talking about production. So a lot of my shows are going to be talking about production, so you might as well get ready for that. But if you want to learn how to do voiceovers, you want to learn how to get into the business, you want to learn how to make money at voiceovers, no matter what stage you're at, you're going to be talking to the professionals tonight so you can understand a lot of things about voiceovers. And so I want to talk about, just to set this thing up, that celebrities have gotten into the game of voiceovers, right? And we've gotten to the point now where some of our actors and folks that as soon as we hear their voice, we know who they are. So I want to put you guys to the test. So this is a participation night. You guys got to comment, you got to ask questions, you got to answer questions. So I need you all's input. I'm going to be relying on you guys real heavy tonight. So I'm going to start it off. I'm going to play a clip. We're just going to do a little voiceover, test, because most of you, I believe, know what voiceovers are, but I want to make sure you understand exactly what a voiceover is. And we hear voiceovers so much. We hear them for our TV commercials. We hear them for intros to shows. We hear them on YouTube, all types of digital content. There's voiceovers for movies. There's voiceovers for everything you can possibly imagine that has some form of content. So I'm going to play this clip, and I may not play the whole thing, but I'm going to play a clip, and I want you guys to put in the comments and tell me whose voice is this. All right, y'all ready? Let me fade this down, and we're going to see if you guys are ready to participate and tell me who this is.
How does healthcare go from being a brand to just being bland? It usually starts with the best of intentions. We latch onto language that feels smart, but probably isn't. We use impressive images, like these high-speed trains. Choo-choo. We go out of our way to show there's science in what we do. That somewhere we have a guy in a lab stirring strange liquids. We want people to believe that we know what these gumballs mean, that our ideas connect 7 billion lives. We know what it means to stand.
Okay, wait a minute. Come on now. You guys are like, you would not do well in Name That Tune. Now, I just gave you all about 30 seconds, and nobody has put in the comments who they believe that voice is. Who can anybody tell me in the comments? Type in who you think that voice is. All right, I'm gonna give you all. I'm gonna play. Let me see. I got somebody in here in the comments. Okay, all right. So Jessica says she believes that's Morgan Freeman. Anybody else think that's Morgan Freeman? I'm gonna play a few more seconds of it from the top, and you guys comment. Tell me who you think that is. Let's see. Where are we? If I can find it, look at it. It just moved on me. Okay, here we go.
How does healthcare go from being a brand to just being bland? It usually starts with the best of intentions. We latch onto language that feels smart, but probably isn't. We use impressive images, like these high-speed trains. Choo-choo. We go out of our way to show there's science in what we do. That somewhere we have a guy in a lab stirring strange liquids.
All right, so that's plenty. All right, so I got a couple people saying Morgan Freeman. Let's see who we got. We got Shauna Aldrich. She's saying Morgan Freeman. Ruby says Morgan Freeman. Jerome says Morgan Freeman. Okay, so here's the deal. So that's, what a voiceover is, right? We hear celebrities doing voiceovers and all that type of thing. Well, I'm going to just move right into introducing my next guest, because my first guest, my only guest for the night, because we got so much to talk about. And I want to share with you guys, just one of the things that you may be familiar with that my next guest has done as a voiceover actor. And so I'm just going to play the very end of this piece so you can hear him.
The Deep and Square.
Too geometric.
The Detroit Deep Deluxe.
Too geographic.
We're not calling it the Howard. Just call it your new favorite deep dish. It's $10 and now part of our meal deals. Now that's an idea.
Hungry? Howie!
All right, so my next guest is actually the person who did the ending of that. He has done several Hungry Howie's commercials, but in that particular clip that I played, he's the one who has that signature voice that you hear on every Hungry Howie's commercial. He's the guy who says hungry, and then the group says Howie's. And it's amazing how you need voices for all types of things. And so his voice has been played all over the world, right? So let's go ahead and get him on because I got so much that I want to share with you guys, but I got to bring him in right. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is somebody who is often heard but seldom seen. He's had his voice on thousands of different content, whether it's movies, commercials, videos, PSAs. His voice has been heard all over the world. So give him a Live with Vince Eliot welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aaron G. Uh-oh, Aaron, I don't see you.
Well, I can see what you're talking about, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay, so he got a little freeze up right there.
Switch back over.
All right, so as he comes in, I'm going to look for you guys' comments. And let's see. We got Jamel that says that's definitely Morgan Freeman's voice. Melanie couldn't think of his name at first, but I don't know. Are you going with Morgan Freeman? Let's see if you. She said, "Lean on me," because she couldn't come up with the name. But I guess Morgan Freeman was in "Lean on Me" or something like that. So, anybody else? Anybody think there's anybody else other than Morgan Freeman? Are we hands down saying that's Morgan Freeman? So we're gonna get Aaron straight here for a second, and what I'll do is while we're waiting for him to come back on.
There we go.
I hear him. We hear you.
Yeah, I got you.
But we don't see you. We still got black.
Oh, you don't see me?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
They want to see you. Well, see, that's the thing. Everybody's used to hearing you and not seeing you. But today we want to see you and hear you. So we got to work that out. So I don't know if you need to go out and come back in.
Here, let me leave and come back in.
Okay. All right. So Melanie's going with a definite yes that she's agreeing that that's Morgan Freeman. And so listen, while we're waiting for Aaron to come back, if you haven't done it already, share. Tonight, we are going to talk about the steps that you can take to become a voiceover artist, the steps you can take to make money. And we're going to go in great detail tonight. We're going to be talking about the equipment and all the things that I said in the promo, which is, do you need an agent? Do you not need an agent? Should you join a union? Should you, do you need a demo? Should you take classes? All of those things we're going to talk about. Let's see if we got Aaron here and we can get him on this time. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise. They're clapping. You just can't hear them. That's all. So there you go. Make your own sound effect. All right, man, listen. So I played a couple things. I played the piece. Real quick, the piece about the Hungry Howies.
Yes.
I mean, maybe they don't believe you. Maybe they don't believe that you're the guy that says Hungry Howies. All right, so do it.
Oh, yeah. Hungry?
I mean, it's just one word. It's kind of hard.
It's just hungry. Yeah.
It's just hungry. So that's interesting. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, but don't give it all away because, I got a ton of questions for you. Go for it.
Okay. Well, my name is Aaron Golamatis, but everybody calls me Aaron G. And I started a project a while back called AaronGTV, which was essentially just a calling card for all of the stuff that I do. So I do an awful lot of stuff. I don't know what you want me to tell right now, but the majority of what I do, especially during COVID, is voiceovers and voice acting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. They don't give away too much because we got a lot to unpack here. Now, I got a huge surprise for you guys. And this is the fun part. Everybody said, oh, that's definitely Morgan Freeman. Aaron, you want to tell them who that really was?
That was Tom Cruise.
It was definitely not Tom Cruise. Could you go ahead and reveal exactly who that was?
Okay, now this is better if you close your eyes. So everybody just close your eyes. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there was a prince who lived in a shining castle.
Although he had everything his heart desired, the prince was selfish, spoiled, and unkind. There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Morgan Freeman has changed his appearance, and he's here with us today. Welcome, Morgan Freeman. I like that piece you do.
Thank you.
I like that piece you do in your demo, where you do the Fresh Prince piece. Morgan Freeman doing Fresh Prince intro. Go for it.
This is a story all about how my life got flipped and turned upside down. I'd like to take a moment, just sit right there until I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
I love it. So this guy does, Keisha's like, what the heck? There's people are they're not ready for that. I mean, so you do Morgan Freeman. Do you do other character voices?
I do a bunch of character voices. Before Morgan Freeman, there was Sean Connery that actually made me a decent amount of cash for a while. He's of course retired and also sounds like a caricature of himself. I think when I first started in voiceovers, the British accent, just a sort of very posh Oxford English accent, got me a little bit of a notoriety. And of course the this summer, for the very first time, that sort of larger than life in a world where darkness is king.
Don't give it all away, because I want to have some fun with the people in the chat a little bit later. We talked about we're going to allow you guys get ready. I want you guys thinking now. What we're going to do shortly is we want you guys to help us with a script. So you're going to come up with an opening line, whether it's in a world or one man or coming soon to a theater near you. You guys are going to put that in the chat, and then you're going to say, your next line, which is might be when darkness falls, or don't open the door, or whatever you want it to be. It doesn't matter if the script makes sense or not. Whatever you guys put in the chat, that's what we're going to say. So I'm going to go first and do my version of it, and then I'm going to let him do his version, because I can't go behind this man. I don't care how good people tell me I am. I don't want to follow this man. So I'm going to do my version, and I'm going to let him do his version. So if you just joined us, first of all, share. We're talking about on your Facebook. We're on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, go to YouTube. And we're talking today about voiceovers. We're going to be talking about the steps to get into voiceovers, and we're going to answer a lot of questions. Do you need to get educated? Do you need to get an agent? Do you need to do all of these different things? And then how do you make money at voiceovers? What are some suggestions? What equipment you should buy? We're going to cover all that. So let's get right into it. First of all, we got some comments here. Ruby says, you are darn good. And we got people clapping. Keisha said, what the heck? I guess that's a compliment. And Melanie says, no way. So that's pretty impressive. I've been hearing you for years, and I'm always impressed with it. I've heard other people try to do Morgan Freeman, and I've never heard anybody do it better than you. So
I appreciate that.
Let's talk about how long you've been doing voiceovers.
Wow. Well, so I've been doing voiceovers for probably about 25-ish years.
Mm-hmm. And how'd you get involved? Tell me the story. Tell them the story about how you got started.
Okay, this is kind of funny. I bought a microphone, and just to see how it would work, we hooked it up to some friends of mine, hooked it up to a computer, and then we just said, what now? And I said, well, somebody told me that I had a good voice for talking. And I just started doing nonsense. And it actually ended up being part of a sound effects collection and ended up at Sony somewhere. But it was it was just a cheese ball microphone. It wasn't I think it was a Shure microphone, but it was not one of their flagships. It was one of their, had a little switch on it and made of plastic.
So tell me about the first one you did that made you say, you know what, I want to do this for, quite some time.
Okay, so this is the voiceover that ruined my life. I wish I had this voiceover because it was one sentence, and it's been so long. I don't have it anymore. But it was for Ford. It was for Ford Motor Company, and I read one line, and it was something like, "At Ford, we are the something, something else," and I made $5,000.
Wow.
And then I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I have found my calling. 100%. I'm a voice actor.
I know that's right. And so you went on vacation and everything else when you got that money, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was
All right.
like, oh.
So I want to give people a sample, of different styles before we start talking about what equipment they should buy and all that type of thing. I want to give people a sample of what you do, what I do, and I want you guys to participate. So right now in the chat, and if you don't put nothing in the chat, we're going to take the comments you already have in the chat, and we're going to use that. Right now, I want you guys to give us a movie trailer opening line. Something, it can be, this Friday or In a World or anything like that. One man, one woman, give us an opening line. Quick, come on, in the chat right now. Give us an opening line. While somebody else is giving us an opening line, somebody else give us the next line. And then give us the plot, and then give us the ending. It doesn't have to be this long script. It can be just, and we can ad lib. See, that's the thing too. We can ad lib. So I want you guys right now in the chat, and then let me pull some music while they're doing that, so we can be kind of familiar. You guys kind of know exactly what we're going to do. So I think I got something here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Coming soon to a theater near you. Get ready tonight. That type of thing. All right, that's what we want. So you guys put it in the chat, what lines you want us to say, and we're going to go for it. We're going to do this live. We haven't rehearsed anything. All I did was choose some music. So whatever you put in there, all right, we got something going. In a world of coronavirus, we have a mask and a lot of entanglement. We got a mask and a lot of entanglement going on. That's funny. That's the buzzword of the day, entanglement. All right, so I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Now, remember, this doesn't even have to make sense. I'm going to do it, and I know I'm setting myself up. It's like I'll do mine, and then then you come behind me, and it's going to be like, wow. So yeah, and I'm not lacking confidence or thinking my stuff isn't good. I really like yours. That's all it is. So okay, so we got In a World of Coronavirus. We have a mask and a lot of entanglement going on. And somehow we got to tie that in with, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. So we can maybe squeeze in between there, one man refuses to wear a mask or something like that. And, when one man refused to wear a mask, he was met, with resistance. And the person told him, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Coming to a theater on the screen, it's the year 1990. All right. Yeah, that's tie all those together somehow. All right, guys. Well, we're going to just start making up some stuff. If you don't give us more to go with, we're going to make up some stuff, and we're going to read off the screen whatever we see. So I got In a World of Coronavirus. I've got We Have a Mask and a Lot of Entanglement going on. I've got I'm going to Make You an Offer You Can't Refuse. And we've got Coming to a Theater. Instead of on the screen, what's more common is Coming to a Theater Near You. So we'll say Coming to a Theater Near You. And then we've got It's the Year 1990. It's the year 1990. Somebody else said No Mask, No Food. So what I'm going to do is, there's one. Frank Carroll says, You Won't Believe What Comes Next. I thought somebody was saying that they would be back. They were actually saying I'll be back. So there was Terminator, I'll be
nice.
back. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that one for you. And you can repeat the same lines I'm gonna say. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the music. I'm just gonna read a few lines and I'm gonna get out your way and let you go for what you know. All right,
cool.
You ready? Here we go.
All right, let's see what you got.
Let me start from the beginning. Coming soon to a theater near you. It's the year 1990, where no mask means no food. It's a conspiracy theory. It's cold, dark, and people are searching for a vaccine. You won't believe what comes next. Take it away, Aaron.
It is the year 1990, and hope is the endangered species. In a world of coronavirus, you won't believe what comes back, what comes next. We have a mask and a lot of containment going on. Coming to a theater near you. I'll be back.
You know what? I feel I'll be back sort of makes it something else that should be in the world of coronavirus. We have a mask and a lot of entanglement going on here. I'm going to make him an offer that he can't refuse. You won't believe what comes next. Me, I'll be back.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, sir. So listen, now let's switch it up. All right, guys, we're going to take those same lines, just for the sake of time, we're going to take those same lines, and now we're going to do a friendly approach, right? Yeah. All right, so don't be a canary in the coal mine.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. You go first.
Okay. It's the year 1990, and the coronavirus is a star of its own. Coming to a theater near you with a mask. You won't believe what comes next. Stay 6 feet away. The new fist bump will be 6 feet away.
Okay, so I really don't know what to go for. I mean, none of this stuff makes sense for what we're what we're reading, but you know, it's just all about the inflection and the different delivery. So
Don't be a canary in the coal mine.
don't be a canary in the coal mine. No mask, no food. Don't leave. What did I say that one already? Let's see. Coming up this winter, it will be cold on. Let me see. What is it? It will be cold on the big screen. Oh, you said that one already. Anyway, I'll leave it alone at that. So yeah, they're still writing scripts. But that was awesome, man. You know, just to do off the top of our heads, you know, and man, again, I'm like this, you know. Yeah, teach me, oh, great one. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, I have Aaron G, and he is a professional voiceover talent. Let's get into answering some of these questions that we know we get a lot of times. I'm sure just like I do, you get a lot of people saying, how do I get into the voiceover business? And yes. I want to start with some misconceptions about the industry. Let's start with misconceptions about the industry.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's something I talk about a lot. Wow. You can go in a lot of different directions with that. But one of the things is if you think that you are going, like you're tired of going into work one day and you think, hey, I think I'll just be a voice actor. That way I don't have to work so hard.
Right.
It's It's like, you've got another thing coming. It's it's a different type of work, but it is work. That being said, if you're interested in it, you should definitely try it. But it's not the good thing to start out under pressure. You wouldn't want to start your voiceover career under pressure, especially if you're a beginner. I tell people it's usually something like, some people, they have a garden, or some people play video games. Some people are musicians. This is an art form that you should try if you have an interest, but this isn't going to save the day. A lot of time, like, voiceovers isn't the same. It's like, oh wow, you know what? I can just talk. I talk all the time. Oh, I should just make millions of dollars. This one guy was on a show and he said something for $4 and made $5,000. I could use $5,000. That's you. It's not quite that easy.
Right.
That's probably the biggest misconception, and it's hard to get across, because it's like, well, man, you're talking like you just the greatest thing in the world, and I talk just like you. So, hey, I can talk too.
Right.
It's if you're interested, there is a place for you, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So that's probably the main
and
misconception.
where. So let's talk to the person who just has no clue. They've been told they got a great voice, or for whatever reason they're interested. Where should they start? Step one. Where should they start?
Step one, you should find out where your interests are. You should try to also see if they match up with the talent of your voice.
Meaning what?
Because, well, if you have a voice, you can, there is a place for you in the industry. But there are some people like maybe they don't have a deep voice. Mm-hmm. They can't do this sort of thing. It's like, now more than ever, maybe you don't have that. And if you're trying to get that, it might not work out for you. So it's like, you need to find where you can place your voice, mm-hmm. and move in that direction.
For example, I was going to say, for example, there was, I used an example last time we talked about voiceovers. There's this commercial where the lady's leaving Target or Walmart or some superstore or whatever, and she got such a great deal that she thought they made a mistake, and so she wanted to take her whatever she bought and rush to the car before they figure it out. And so she runs out and she's like, start the car. It takes all types of voices. So if you can, but with that, you have to understand some things. And we talked about some of these things last time. You have to understand enunciation. You have to understand pitch, tone, cadence. You have to understand how to deliver the copy. We talk about there's several ways to read one line. So should you be saying, get ready, or should you be saying, hey, get ready? There's something, so you gotta be able to interpret the copy in a way that's going to deliver the message in the way that you want people to receive it. Do you want them to feel compassion? Do you want to, what emotion do you want to, appeal to? So I'm assuming, I just wanted to add on to what you were saying. It's like, you got to kind of know where your niche is and what your voice is best used for, whether you're 3 or whether you're, 85. Thing is that your voice is needed, if you can do all those other things that I named.
That's exactly right. And it's like, if you start doing voiceovers, it's funny because you don't realize how often you hear something read to you. Mm-hmm. And almost all commercials, like very few commercials, are just text over music. So that's something to be aware of. But if you listen to like a lot of the Apple stuff or some of the newer type of things, they're just everyday voices. So if your voice is just authentic, that's good enough. So you have to be able to read. You're going to be reading a lot. So that's a plus, like feel comfortable reading. But when I started out, it's like, I was a really good reader early on, but I wasn't a good speaker. So but I was a very good editor. So the majority of voiceovers that I did early on, I would read until I got it right. And then I learned to be a really good editor. And then I would just cut things together as if it were seamless. And because of it, people will call me to edit things or patch in my voice into other places. And editors love working with me because of that. And so it's like, you have something to bring to the table. It's like your superpower. So it's blending that with your desire to be a voice actor or voiceover artist. I think another thing to do, don't be afraid to take acting lessons. Because if you are a voiceover artist, there are tons of resources to get you comfortable with your own voice. So, I mean, it's like when I started out, I didn't have what YouTube is today. So if you type in anything you want to know and then the word tutorial, chances are there's somebody teaching you how to do it, and it might be like a 12-year-old kid from the UK teaching you how to do it.
All right,
but that is one of the things.
I want to fast forward for the sake of time, because we got to get into the heart of this thing. I want to know, do I need an agent? I want to know, do I need to join the union? I want to know what equipment I need. We got a lot of questions to answer, but we're going to do it right after this. Oh, and by the way, Aaron, pay attention after my partnership piece, because somebody has a special message just for you. All right? Yes, you. Hey, everybody. Vince Eliot saying thank you for tuning in. Real quick, I wanted to invite you to become partners with us and contribute to our success. Our success is your success. One way that you can do that is by subscribing to our YouTube page, The Vince Eliot. Click on the notification so that you are notified when we go live or upload new content. Secondly, please share this broadcast with your family, friends, contacts, Craig and them, Cud and them, share with everybody. Lastly, you can contribute to the success of the broadcast with a financial contribution of only $1.25 a week, $5 a month, or $60 contribution for the year by using the Cash App information that's on the screen, $Live with Vince Eliot. So thank you for helping us to bring information, education, inspiration, motivation, and yes, a few laughs to the world. Oh. Thank you.
Hello there. I am such a player for Junior Palmer. I am 100 years young. Yes, oh, I like that Aaron G and those impressions. Lord, have mercy. Did you say Aaron was single? Because if so, Aaron, I just want you to know I'm the complete package. I'm the 4 S's. I'm also single, success saved, and a supermodel. Because at 100 years young, I don't start it from the bottom. Now I'm young. Mason, you make sure you pass Aaron my phone number.
Well, I got something flying in my face. Aaron, apparently, Sister Pearl got an eye for you. She likes your Morgan Freeman impressions and all of that. So if you just joined us, I have Aaron G of AaronGTV. We're here talking about voiceovers, and we are about to get to the nuts and bolts of what do you need to do to get into the voiceover business? How do you make money? What do you need to do? Do you need an agent, union? What equipment do you need to buy? What can you do online with the COVID and quarantine things going on? How do you reach, people to be able to let them know? Do you need a demo? Oh my goodness, let's just do it, man. Let's just get into it. So Aaron, first question. What do I do to get started? I mean, how this is going to cost me $10,000 worth of equipment? What can I do? I mean, I got a shoestring budget. What's the best thing for me to do?
Well, so here's the thing. If you're interested, then you have, if you have the interest, then you have what you need to get started. If you have a phone, then you have a studio. Like nowadays, if you have an iPod, you have a studio. So it's a lot easier to get started than it ever was before. Especially like if you're in the iOS world, if you're into Apple stuff, all Apple products come bundled with GarageBand. And GarageBand is a really powerful, you'll hear this said a lot. If you don't know what a DAW is, DAW is a digital audio workstation. Your phone has a DAW inside of it, and that's what we use to record our voices. A lot of phones have very high quality microphones, and I have done certain projects on cell phones and sent them to clients. So,
Wow.
and so it's like, depending on what the project is, and it's been good enough. Now I use, because I was an engineer first, audio engineer first, I know how to sweeten it, but that's how close you are to getting started.
So let me just jump in there. So maybe that might be, good enough to.
Oops.
What is
I
that?
just lost you.
Uh-oh.
Lost your audio.
All right. So Aaron's trying to get that back, and I got a fruit fly that just loves me.
There we go.
Keeps flying in my face. Can you hear me?
I'm back.
All right. So, I can use that, and maybe I practice with that and see how I can make that great. So now maybe I got a hold of $500 or something like that. What's the first piece of equipment I need to buy if I want to go ahead and I want to be serious about this thing?
If you want to be serious about it and you only have $500, I would recommend getting a microphone. For your first microphone, don't spend more than $100. Like if you're not making money at it consistently, then you're in practice mode right now. I would say for your first practice kit, you can get started easily for $400. I use this microphone every day. This is one of my favorite microphones on the go. This is a Deity D3 Pro, specifically the D3 Pro. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit expensive as far as these type of microphones go to start out, and that would be the most expensive gear that you have. But it's really good for voiceovers. It's really good for a lot of stuff, and it plugs directly into your cell phone. So I can record gigs directly here on a cell phone and then edit them in the software. I don't recommend starting out paying for software. I know a lot of people use Audacity because it's free, and I do use Audacity. I like it, but I have a studio that is dedicated to the software Reaper, where I like to use the program Reaper. The creators of Reaper make it free for anyone to use, fully unlocked for an unlimited amount of time. And they just ask you that when you start making money, that you buy it. And when you do buy it, it's about $60.
Okay.
So I really like that program. But any program that you already know how to use, just keep using it. If it has good, if it reproduces good audio, learn how to use it very well. And then, especially if you paid for it, it's good to know Pro Tools, but man, that's rough.
So first of all, if you guys got questions, go ahead and put those in the chat, and we'll get those questions answered. Education, am I good, going to YouTube and just educating myself on YouTube online? Should I take a course with a professional? What's your recommendation?
Now that's really hard. That's a really hard question to ask. And I think my own personal opinion is there isn't a blanket answer. You should be able to find somebody that you trust that you can ask, hey, what do I need to do? Like we used to do evaluations for artists. They would come to us and say, hey, this is the direction I'm going in. Should I continue going in this direction? Should I stop, or should I get tutelage or something like that? I'd say the most sincere plus you can get is acting lessons. If you were to don't spend a lot on acting lessons, but it's good to know how to act, because if you're a voice actor, you do more acting than anything. You have to know how to read. I say that as a joke, but you will read a lot. And sometimes if you think that you know how to read, usually we read for fun. But when you're reading like as a living, sometimes you only get one take. And it's like, or maybe a couple of takes. And then it's like, then you're reading a book at the Olympics. It's like every sentence is the Olympics. So it's like, ah. So feel comfortable reading. Acting classes.
I was going to jump in real quick and say that, and we mentioned this last time we talked about voiceovers, is that you can go online and do sample scripts. There are sites you can just Google and say, sample voiceover scripts or something like that. I think it's called Edge Studio or something. They're not a paid sponsor or anything, but I think it's Edge Studio. They have sample scripts, and you can go on there and you can pull up existing scripts. You can pull up made up scripts, depending on, what site you go to, and practice those scripts. I often tell my story, just a snippet of it right now, is I used to ride in my vehicle, and I would, every time I'd continue searching for commercial breaks. And I just continue listening to the commercial break. Forget the music. I want the commercial break. Go to the commercial break, turn it down just low enough where I can hear them, and then I'm mimicking how they're doing it. If they sound excited, then I'm trying to sound excited. But I was trying to mostly find people that I thought I could mimic. Even if it was a woman, I said, okay, well, what's the male version of that? And so practice, education, however you need to get it. If you can afford to take a class online, I recommend you do. If you can afford to walk into somebody's class after the pandemic, I recommend you do. There are classes that might just be 1, 2, 3 days. Then there are classes that, go on for weeks. So it just depends on how in-depth you want to go. And those classes that go on longer, usually you come out with a demo. Not to say you can't get a demo with a 1 to 2 or 3 day class, but those longer classes, they get into a lot more how you breathe. They talk about a lot of different stuff. But just in terms of the basics, I think it's important. If you can afford to get educated, get educated. The backup might be what I did, which was listening to people, and then also going on YouTube. There's a lot of information, and then guys like Aaron and myself, you stay connected, because I have a YouTube page. I got a couple YouTube pages, and I've been thinking about it lately because I keep getting this question, how do I get in voiceovers? And I may just start uploading videos that say, hey, this is today we're talking about voiceovers, but we're talking about specific one area or maybe 2 or 3 areas, sort of like what we're doing today, and just put that up, and those things can kind of help you. Education. Now, what about getting an agent? Let's say I got my demo together, maybe they called you up and they contacted you, and you brought them in the studio and helped them with their demo. Now they're ready to get out there. Should they go get an agent? Should they join a union? What should they do?
So that's let's back up a quick second. I want to go back. Somebody told me that someone was going to charge them $12,000 to get a voiceover demo together.
Don't do it. Don't do
So
it.
that's where it's hard. It was like I was eating a meal. I was with a friend. I was like, yeah, okay, don't do that. That's
right.
That's really okay, because
that's a ripoff.
I'll make you. I'll make you a demo for 10. No, but it's. Obviously there are a lot of scams out there. It shouldn't cost you a lot to make a demo. You can record a demo yourself, but the average thing is if you go to a studio and you tell them that you want to put a demo together, it shouldn't cost you more than $50 an hour. So, and that's a really decent studio. So if it's costing you more than $50 an hour, definitely don't do it, and don't get to that point until you have something to show for it. Like after you have a couple of voiceovers.
I will play angel's advocate. Studios, if you got a private studio, you got a buddy or something like that, they might do it for $25 an hour or something. They may do you a favor, just give you a flat rate. There are legitimate studios. They're recording songs and music. They're charging $75, $95, $150 an hour, things of that nature. What I would say as an addendum to what you said is, for what you're doing, you don't need an elaborate studio that's charging you $75, $95, upwards of over $100 an hour. You should be able to do what you need to do in a quality studio at about $50 an hour. Now, and I said that to say, if somebody's charging you $75, $65 an hour, $85 an hour, they're not trying to rip you off. You may want to negotiate with them, or if you feel like it's worth it because I really want to work with this person, because the truth of the matter is there's a good chance that this person who's charging you for studio time, they're also going to charge you because they're probably going to have to help you with the demo. You know, they're going to have to put in their expertise. Say, no, the demo should go like this. No, your demo doesn't need to be 3 minutes. It needs to be a minute, you know, and maybe some change. So the thing is that if they're going to be helping you like that and you feel it's worth it and you feel you trust the person, you want to pay them a little more an hour, fine. Now, here's the thing. You want to go to the studio prepared. I always say this, you know, jokingly sometimes. You know, you see on TV and the movies where these rappers back in the day were going to the studio, they smoking, they drinking, and they making it up while they in the studio. They do that and they blow a lot of money. Your best bet is to go to the studio prepared. Have your lines rehearsed, know what you want to do, go to the studio, and if you need that engineer to help you with trimming it down, then that's fine. But know your lines when you get there. Don't get there practicing and trying to figure it out. You should be able to go to the studio, record. Once they're set up, which they should be when you get there, you should be able to record that demo in, 10, 15 minutes? And then they edit. You basically shouldn't be in the studio more than 2 hours to do your demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
if it takes more than 2 hours, you weren't ready.
You weren't ready. Something's wrong. And that 2 hours is based on, you know, that person and your creativity and what you guys want to do with it and all that. So I wanted to jump in and say that. All right. So union or non-union, agent or no agent?
So if you're at the point now where you want to join the union, that's really hard. And that really depends more on your location than anything else. Like right now in Michigan, that's where I live. The union isn't very strong. I mean, and the majority of the work that I do, because I have a lot of friends that are filmmakers and they do commercials and they do a lot of stuff. So it's like, it wasn't advantageous for me personally to join the union. That being said, if I would have been in the union, I would forever have been paid for that hungry. That would have paid my bills. So it's like that's the payoff. Now it's like I don't want to take voiceovers away from people in the union, so I am sensitive to that. But that's my own personal belief. I have friends that are in the union, and I mean, it would be really nice, but for right now, that's just not where I'm at. If you live in LA, I don't know how you get work not being in the union. New York also. And if you're at the point where you're thinking about it, if you're making money and you're doing stuff, and then the union is where really we all want to be.
Right.
But just it wasn't there for me. It would mean that I have to say goodbye to certain clients that I'm just not willing to say goodbye to. But that's a personal question, like that you would have to answer yourself.
Yeah, I chose not to go with the union, like you said, in Michigan. It just really wasn't worth it. And then agent or no agent. If I don't get an agent, well, first of all, is the agent gonna be expensive? You know, do they really get me work? If they don't, then how do I get work?
Now this is really hard because this works with the with music industry as well. There are some agents that will take you on because they know that you are good, and they need you in their portfolio to be attractive to other clients. That's a real odd part of the game. So it's like you really have to do research. If you're at the point where you feel you need an agent, then the research is the way that you would research a job or an employee, because they in a sense they are an employee of you. I would look at their portfolio, see how they talk about themselves, and then research their clients, and if you can, talk to their clients. And there really isn't an easy button for that. But also there are some times where you'll get someone who is really wanting to prove themselves, and they get out there and it's like, hey, you know what? I believe in you and I really want to make this work. I say, go for it. If
what will an agent cost you? What will an agent cost you?
Well, it depends. If you're in LA, wow, an agent can cost you an arm and a leg.
So you walking around doing voiceovers like that?
If you're in Michigan and an agent is costing you an arm and a leg, you need to get out of there.
Yeah.
There's not enough work. It's like for an agent right now. I am part of certain agencies.
There you go. I was going there next.
Exactly, where they have a bunch of voice actors that they like to work with, and I know all of them. I know their families and stuff like that, and we work together. We work in the same area, and so if they have a project that they want my particular voice on, or a voice that I do, and I also have a group of people that I recommend too, and that's how that works out. But those agencies, a lot of the earlier ones I don't work with anymore simply because they don't exist. And some of the newer ones are like, the game is constantly changing. I would say there isn't, I feel bad because like there isn't a yes or there isn't a no. It's going to be, you have to go to the environment and feel it out. And
I'll say this. So we're now segueing into, how you make money, right? And you tapped on, agencies. I myself am, hooked up with a couple agencies, local and abroad in California. I'm in Michigan, and they send me work all the time. Now I'm going to touch on something. I personally am not a fan of auditioning and competing against 50 other voice actors, because for me, my time is, because this is how it works. You're on the list. You sent them your demo. They like you. They say, okay, yep, you can join our crew basically. And, we've categorized your voice type and your style. And every time we get, an authoritative, movie trailer style, whatever, that you send them, we'll send you, the information so you can audition. So I'm getting these auditions. I'm getting these throughout the week, every week. And very rarely do I take the time to audition because my day is so packed. I feel like, so I'm going to read your script, and sometimes most of the times it's a partial script, but sometimes it's a full script. And in order to have a chance at getting that job, I'm going to have to put in the same effort as if somebody was paying me. Yeah. And with no guarantee of getting paid. And so let's just suppose I do 5 or 10 of those a week, through the different agency. It could be more, and I've done all of these and I've put in all this time, and it's like, maybe I get one, am I getting 1 out of 10? Am I getting 1 out of 50? It just depends. And for me, so that segues into my next point is I like sites like Fiverr. Yeah. Talk about Fiverr. Go ahead.
So right now, like, I avoided Fiverr. Well, I want to speak to what you just said. Voice acting is a little bit different than a lot of other type of jobs. Like, people don't realize when you audition for something, you are using your product. Like, you're using your resource. That would be like in other environment, if a race car is riding races, like to get into a race, and you're paying for that with years of your life. If I speak too much, and if I do, like, especially the voice that you do, that very deep, growly voice, that takes from you. Yeah. Like, I've done gigs where that was burning, and I could feel the blood in my throat.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Oh my, yeah, and that's hard. So I don't like to do full auditions. My demo is my audition, and if somebody picks me, it's because they have seen my work and they think that I am right for their gig. So I'll go in, I'll read a couple of samples of their stuff, but that's it. Like, I don't do full reads anymore. I don't have to, and actually, fewer and far between do you actually have to.
Well, I want to get back to this Fiverr thing, because Fiverr is a great place where you don't have to ask permission. You don't have to be accepted. You don't have to pay anything. it is an excellent platform for beginners and professionals. Now, I'll tell you a story, and I know yours is similar, is that when I first heard about Fiverr, now, typically when we do voiceovers, unless we're doing them for huge corporations, a voiceover can range, depending on if you're doing the full mix with the music, sound effects, whatever, anywhere from $100 to $300 on average. But if you're doing them for Ford Motor Company and they're going to be playing it, and then, that scale is out the window. It's a whole totally different scale. It just depends on who you're doing it for and how many people it's going to reach. So when I heard about Fiverr, and if you're not familiar with Fiverr, basically it is a digital platform where you can do any type of digital work for, and the gig is like starting at as little as $5. So you can do logos for people, you can do copywriting for people, you can proofread stuff for people, you can do graphics for on and on and on, and you can do voiceovers. And when somebody told me about that, I said, man, listen, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but I'm not doing voiceover for $5. Do you know how much I get paid to do voiceovers? I mean, I'm an accomplished Hollywood voiceover actor. I've done voiceover for a Hollywood movie. I'm not about to do voiceover for $5. Well, what I learned was, I said, well, you know what? I rethought. I said, well, I'm not going to do 5. I'm going to start mine at 25 or 30 or whatever it was. And then you have add-ons. And I said, well, I'll do this in my downtime because I can reject it or I can do it, right? So next thing I know, I start off with what they call a gig at 25 or 30 bucks. And then I said, oh, you want to use it for broadcast? Oh, that's going to be extra. Oh, you want me to put it in a WAV format? Well, that's extra. Oh, you want to have more revisions? You want to have what else? You want it like, how many words do you have? Based on the words, or you want it extra fast. You say you need it within the next 4 hours, 6 hours. Oh, that's extra. Next thing you know, I'm making 100, 200, 300. And you knock those out, once you got your system down and you got your equipment at home, you knock those out and you look up, and at the end of the month, after your money clears and all that, and next thing you know, you're drawing down, man, that's an extra $150. That's $300. That's $500, $700, $900. It adds up. And so, now I've done it as a little side hustle, little gas money, and I've been able to make, some decent change. But you, on the other hand, talk to people about how they can really potentially make this as a serious stream of income on Fiverr.
Okay. So when I started out doing voiceovers, Fiverr came along maybe a few years later, and one of the students or something, an intern came in and said, "Oh man, you should get on Fiverr. You would clean up. You'd be surprised, man. Just do these $5 gigs, and then it just adds up over time." I was like, "Thank you. I appreciate what you're saying, but there's no way I'm going to do a voiceover that I could get paid $500 for $5, and I hope you all die." It's like, what? Why would
anybody do that?
Why would anybody do that? That's like, man, I mean, are you tired of making money? Do you wish that you could make substantially less money than you already make? It's like, no, nobody says that ever. It's like, you're doing a job, but how about getting the same amount of work but getting paid pennies instead of hundreds? It's like, yeah, no, absolutely not. That's going to be a hard no.
Sale.
Hard no.
Yes.
So Fiverr advanced. Nobody expected Fiverr to blow up. Fiverr is a platform where if you have a project of any budget, you can go to Fiverr and get something done.
Yes.
And that is the perfect place for people who are starting out on voice actor, because you can create an account right now, put voiceovers on your phone and just put it out there like right after the show, and you can theoretically be making money. So, but what you need is the same in every type of marketing. You need some kind of you need to be fulfilling a need or a desire. Mm-hmm. So when I got on Fiverr, I mean, I just lost a position that I was in, and I was with my girlfriend, now fiance, and it's like, well, we don't have jobs. It's like, well, I know that I can do voiceovers. I can switch to doing voiceovers full time. I was doing them part time at this time, and I know the person who does Morgan Freeman on Fiverr is famous. Like he's done a lot of stuff out there. I can't remember his name. I feel bad not knowing his name, but he's very, very good.
You're better than him, by the way, but go ahead.
Well, I appreciate that. But I know that mine is pretty decent. I know I'm at least as good as he is. So I put mine on there and it didn't get any traction. And then it was hilarious because my girlfriend, Shauna, who is in here right now, my fiance, Shauna, she said, you know what we should do? You should put my face up there and then I'll talk and then you ADR Morgan Freeman over it. And I was like, that is genius.
What's ADR? Tell people what ADR is.
Oh, ADR is essentially audio replacement. And this is one thing. This is why you see a little bit of rabbit trail. This is why you see actors get into voice acting a lot, is because all actors in professional movies and stuff like that, they actually replace their own dialogue after the fact. So they're essentially reacting and voicing over what they did before. And that process is called ADR. So I just did it over her doing Morgan Freeman. And then we got a ton of clicks. Now, I'm not saying to do the exact same thing, but I'm saying that there is something that you have to bring to the table. You have to find out what that is. And
all right, so go ahead.
If you can do that, you can do very well on Fiverr very quickly. And you don't have to be a quote unquote professional to do it, because every type of project is needed.
So let's do a quick recap. All right. So for the beginner, you want to educate yourself and you want to find out what your niche is. What does your voice naturally do? Or even if it doesn't do it naturally, I remember I contacted somebody from Walt Disney because somebody I was managing did character voices, and I was like, hey, what do we need to do? And they basically said, you need to, whatever voice that is you're going to do, you need to be able to maintain that. It's like it's your regular voice. Like you need to be able to talk like throughout the whole day like that. So if you got a voice that you do, or you're going to project your voice a certain way, I'm not saying that you have to be able to talk the whole day like that, but you need to be consistent with it. You need to be able to, if you had to read like that for half an hour, or an hour, and of course take breaks or whatever, it needs to sound the same when you start it as it's going to sound. You take a few breaks and you come back 2 hours later and do it. It needs to be polished and consistent. And when I say polished, I don't mean that it has to sound smooth. I'm saying even if you're doing a crack, whatever, some kind of voice, it needs to be the same every time. So know your niche, know your sound, know what your voice is best used for. Look for examples of that online. Get educated one way or another. If you can't afford to take a class online, then do YouTube videos. Be self-taught. I was self-taught, and practice to the point until you're ready to do a demo. You said, hey, start with your cell phone. If you can't afford a microphone, if you can save up a little bit of money, get your first microphone. It doesn't have to be the greatest one in the world, but it can be decent at $100 roughly. Get that. Get you some free software. Audacity comes with the whole, Apple. No, wait a minute. Audacity. Am I getting confused?
Free.
It's free.
Audacity is free. GarageBand comes with all iOS devices.
Right. Get that. Take some YouTube classes. Go to YouTube and just pull up videos and say, how to use Audacity, how to, whatever you're trying to learn how to do, how to change pitch, how to, and all of these things. So that's the next thing. And then you can grow and build from there, but get your demo together. And my personal recommendation is to start off with Fiverr. I got it up on the screen, Fiverr.com. No, they are not a paid sponsor. It's just something that we personally use. And then you can even go on YouTube and look for videos on how to best get some traction on Fiverr. All right, so we said a lot. We talked about an agent. So sort of like where we're, how they do the movies, where they do 2 thumbs up or thumbs down. I think if you're starting out, I'm going to go with thumbs down on the agent because it can be costly, and you really need to be set up in such a way that you can do a litany of things, I'll say. And I'll give you a quick example before we move on. There's something called ISDN lines, meaning that I can be sitting here in Michigan, my client can be in LA, and they could say, hey, Vince, say this line this way. And I go, da-da-da-da-da. And they say, okay, great. Say it this way. And da-da-da-da. And they're recording it over there. So you need an ISDN line. That's for another day, another conversation. You might, people sometimes, very rarely in my experience, do people want to know what kind of equipment you're using. Now, if you're dealing with a higher end client that's not familiar with you and you're getting your foot in the door, they may want to ask what kind of equipment you're using. But if you start out on Fiverr, you don't have to, most times you don't have to worry about that. And then we talked about Union. Union, I go thumbs down again. Thumbs down on Union because depending on where you are. Now, if you're in LA, it might be a different story. But if you have developed your talent and your demo's good enough, where you're going to get in those markets, where you're going to get with an agency, I do thumbs up on agency. I do recommend agency. And you can chime in anytime if you want to just do thumbs up or thumbs down on things I'm talking about. But I do recommend agency. You can find those online. You can, reach out to us and get some recommendations on agencies or what have you. And just Google that, man, and you can sign up, send them your demo. You're going to have your demo ready. And then there's websites like Voice123, Voices.com, all these different websites that you can upload your demo to, and they don't cost you anything. I'm trying to think. Do Voices 123 cost you anything? I don't think.
I think Voice 123. They've changed recently.
Okay.
There are a couple of them. It doesn't cost you to create an account, but then it'll cost you a monthly fee eventually in order to receive work. But if you get to that point, that's why Fiverr, there's another site called Upwork that's really good. Also Freelancer, I think, is another one that's really good. But Fiverr is the easiest. They do take 20%.
Yes, they do.
Of your cut. But, I mean, I say give it to them. It's a pretty decent site for what it is.
I'm going to do a mid thumb on Upwork. I found Upwork to be like, you want me to read an entire book for $12? I mean, come on, man.
That's going to be a hard no.
You can find that on Fiverr too. You really have to shop, what you're going to do. And, and that's, like I said, another conversation. But I tell people, send me your script first, before you just click on and purchase and all that type of thing. So, by the way, Gina and Mary are watching. I don't know if you know who they are, but
hey, Gina and Mary.
Gulba and Mary are watching. So thanks, guys. Listen, we got to get out of here. We're a little over the time. It always happens like that when we're talking about production. I like what Ruby said. I forgot what she was replying to exactly, but she said entanglement. And then Montez came with a whole script. By the time we were done doing the scripts, it's like, I think Montez is trying to get us to read her script so she can record this and take it off and use it. No, I don't think she would do that. I'm just joking. But I mean, Montez is in the business in a different way. And she didn't, I don't think she created that. I think that's something she had, maybe she worked on before. So listen, man, I'm going to give you an opportunity to say something on the way out. And then I'm going to wrap it up, and we're going to call it a show.
Well, hey, everybody. It's been great hanging with you. If you're watching this live, or if you're watching it recorded, I do have a bunch of resources for you. If you visit my website, AaronGTV.com, that's AaronGTV.com, there's going to be a special gift there that talks about some of the stuff that I have talked about today. And I'll put direct links. I'm actually in the process of building it right now. So it will be progressive as it will progress as time goes on with resources. Some of the things that we talked about today. And that's for you guys just for watching the show. AaronGTV.com. On the front page, just scroll down and say your free gift. Reach out to me if you have any questions. A friend of mine, Joe Giza and myself, we do a podcast called Questionable Audio. reach out with any audio questions or anything like that. But best thing to do is ask and be friends with us online.
Yeah, and they can reach out to you. It's on the screen, AaronGTV Media at gmail.com. And, of course, there's a link to your email on the site as well, on the AaronGTV.com that I had up there earlier. And
Excellent.
then, yeah, man. I mean, and then, of course, they can reach out to you if they want you to actually do voiceover. They might need that Morgan Freeman deal.
That's right. Check me out on Fiverr.
Oh, and by the way, so I'm going to have to let Sister Pearl know that you're engaged to be married, and
Yes, it's true.
just not going to happen for her. So when's the big day? You got a day set?
That's going to be August 29th.
Are you kidding me?
That's right. Yeah.
Guess whose anniversary that is?
Oh, my goodness. Who?
That would be me and my wife. August 29th, you picked an excellent day.
All right, yeah.
You know, but I mean, this August 29th, you'll be your first day, and it'll be my celebrating 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
yeah.
brother.
Yes, sir. Oh, you picked a great day. So let's see what we got here. Jessica says, nice job, Aaron. And I want to thank my folks that are watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching on the replay, hey, we appreciate you just as well. We want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to ask questions. So that's why we leave the emails up and things of that nature. And I'm going to play what I love to play, my favorite little background music as we get off here. But listen, contact Aaron at AaronGTVmedia at gmail.com. You can also go to his website, and the website is where you're going to get that free gift that he has for you, AaronGTV.com. And then, of course, I want to remind you guys, first of all, let me thank you, Aaron, for taking out your time to chat with us and give us a lot of information from your years of wisdom in this business. And of course, there's never enough time. There's just so much more we could have talked about. And so I'm going to release you and thank you for being on the show. And then I'm going to remind everyone to go to our YouTube page and subscribe. If you haven't done that, please, right after this, go to the YouTube page and subscribe. All you got to do is search for The Vince Eliot. I'm going to adjust here. And also, if you feel that this content was valuable, if you like what we're doing with the show, we definitely can use your support. That information is going to be on the screen right after I finish rambling. And then we also have, we just kicked off a GoFundMe campaign. Once again, you can go to GoFundMe and you can put in the search, The Vince Eliot. Same thing you would put in the search at YouTube, The Vince Eliot. We got a small goal, $2,500. If you go to the GoFundMe page, it'll tell you what it's for. It's for equipment, it's for subscriptions, it's for, keeping the show going, and it's for upgrading and making the show to be all it can be. That's all I got, folks. Subscribe, share, and support. Appreciate you guys. And we will be back next week on Friday, 8 p.m., and we're going to be talking to Jeremy Johnson. Jeremy Johnson is works for Channel 7 News, and he's going to take us behind the scenes, and we're going to see what does the guy do behind the scenes with the camera and all that type of thing. We're talking production next week. Be here 8 o'clock. Matter of fact, be there at 7:55. All right. So if you have any questions, definitely reach out, and you can email. I guess I'll put my email up so that you guys can email thevinceeliot at gmail.com. Other than that, it was a pleasure. And if you're looking to get anybody to do any voiceover work, you can contact Aaron, you can contact me. That's about it. So have a good night. We will see you next time.